Hello, welcome to another Retainer Designer live stream, a Sunday live stream, as I tend to do nowadays. Just want to hang out today. I got some work to do. I got a kind of busy Monday, so I sometimes owning your own lab, you have to do some work on Sunday nights. So I don't have really anything planned. Usually when I do these live streams, I do kind of some sort of theme, or it's based around some appliance or something. I don't have that today. So, but I do have an RPE, bonded RPE. I did a whole thing on that, and I got a band and loop and a Hawley, and we'll see how far we get in an hour. So I usually try to get these only an hour, but you know, I got to get these things done tonight also. So with that being said, my name's Cade. This channel is Retainer Designer, where I teach the next generation of orthodontic technicians everything I know, which isn't much, but it's something. So anyway, thanks for joining me. And if you don't know, my wife and I own a small orthodontic lab, this lab here, and we have it out in the country. It's a small little lab out in the country, and it's in a little building on the end of our driveway past our house. And so that's where we do for a living, is we do this work. And so it's not that bad going into work on a Sunday evening when you work from home. So it works out good. Come home from church and I bring home some of my live streaming equipment I use at church, and that helps to get me in the mood to, you know, plug in everything and go. So that being said, like I said, I do have a bonded RPE. Let's see, can I block? So one of these fancy things, and it's a little unusual because I'm missing the palette. They didn't scan it. And so usually whenever I call them and say, hey, I'm missing the palette, they're really good at doing a rescan, or they'll tell me, like in this case, hey, the patient we couldn't get a good scan on the patient. Now, this is a very interesting one, but before we get too far into that, I do have something while I wait on this one. So this will be done in stages, and that's the bad thing about this, is it takes a little while because things have to dry and all that stuff. I do have a simple band and loop that we'll work on, and it's going to be a weld only band and loop. So band on this one, loop to this tooth. Then I have some pedo bands I can show y'all, pediodontic bands that I ordered that I can use for that. So let's get started. Unless y'all got any questions. Oh, I do have a comment. All right, it's Amy. Hello. How are y'all doing? I'm not watching the Cowboys game, so if anybody's watching, give me the score while we're going. I kind of don't want to watch it the way they've been playing. But we'll move to this. And have y'all noticed something about this case? Something weird? That's a canine behind the front tooth. How crazy is that? That is supposed to be over here. I mean, I think it could be over here. I don't know, but I don't really see. I kind of see a little shadow of a tooth there. I don't know if that's an extra, what they call a supernumerary canine, or it's what's supposed to be over here. So you can see why they need expansion. So this is going to be what they call an RPE, a rapid palatal expander. And so they need to make room, because once they straighten all these, it'll close this space. And so this needs to go over here. So they're going to expand, and then they'll hook a bracket onto that and pull it across and put it back into place. Are you kidding me? Perry, are they seriously 36? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. 36 to 6. They were 14 to 6 going at halftime. Oh, jeez. Come on, Cowboys. You're playing as bad as the Saints. I'm just kidding. I am kidding. Fourth to go. Fourth with 36. Oh, jeez. Yep, that's not looking too good. Maybe Cooper Rush can do a miracle or something. Where are all my scissors? Scissors? Why in the world did I say? Okay, here we go. Okay, if y'all don't know, I use a special wire. The doctor wants a nickel-free wire for the framework on here. So that is actually, this stuff is what I order, and I order it from Great Lakes Orthodontics, mezzaninium, and it's a nickel-free, non-corrosive, break-resistant, because there was kind of corroding. Now I got a really good tip from somebody on my live stream. If I remember, I'll try to link that live stream to the bonded RPE somewhere around here on the recording, if you're watching the recording. Or if not, go to my channel and hit subscribe. I mean, search for bonded RPE, you'll find it. But I think I got a really good tip of not handling it after I high shine it and getting my finger oils all over it. And I think that might be why it's tarnishing, turning colors. But this did help a little bit. I don't know why, but sorry, man. Yeah. At least the Chargers are going well. Oh, are they really? Iliag, hello from Tennessee. Actually, 34-6. Oh, okay. So wait, what happened? Y'all both said 36. You said it, and you said it. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch the replay. I'm glad y'all are watching me instead of the Cowboys. Well, I'm glad y'all are keeping up with the score for me. So what I usually do is I keep it in my drawer here, the spool, and I'll just cut off a piece, and I usually go about here, and I'll cut double the length. And oh, CBS Sports app. My oldest son is from Philadelphia, and he's backing up the Eagles. Sorry, that's okay. If they're playing good, they're playing good. Looked like Hurt was having a bad game at the beginning until he did that long run. But yeah, it's okay. CBS Sports apps where you're watching it from. I guess I could have it going, but Amy, you remember last live stream, I had a hard time with the internet connection. But I bought a new adapter, and I have it plugged directly into my router. So I hope if it was internet issues, it wasn't. If it was Wi-Fi issues, then I've taken care of that. We'll see. But again, I do have it recording. So if it goes, have it recording to my computer. So if it is a bad live stream, I'll have it upload it as quick as possible. So that was the Inman Distalizer I did on the last live stream. I don't think I uploaded it up to Patreon. But if you are interested, if the ads are getting to you, I'll have it set for medium balance, so the ads don't get in the way too much. But if you're interested, there's a link below to my Patreon. For $1 a month, I post the ad-free versions of these. The only bad thing is you don't get the live stream. I haven't figured out how to do that very well to be a part of the ad-free live stream. But anyway, so what I'm doing is, this is 030 mezzaninium wire, and I'm just slightly contouring it around the teeth here. All right, turn that corner. I like it when it's pretty obvious on these, when there's like sevens. So there's sixes and then sevens. Sometimes the sevens aren't fully erupted, and the doctors asked me to make a decision. You know, if they're partially covered with gums, don't include them in the RPE. If they're fully exposed but not fully erupted, go ahead and include them in the RPE. I've been getting some of these back that are debonding. but it looks like it's debonding at the tooth. So when I get the RPE back, there's glue on the inside of the RPE, the acrylic. So that means it debonded from the tooth. So it looks like it might be a bonding issue to the tooth. I don't know if they're the glue, they're just not getting a good bond to the tooth or what. Has anybody got a good recommendation for an adhesive for acrylic bonded RPEs? That would be great. Can my hands not work? Come on, hands, work. I even worked Saturday because there were a couple of things. I made a glow-in-the-dark pink splint yesterday, and I was going to mail it out. And I realized when I was printing the mailing label, oh, tomorrow's Veterans Day. And I was like, oh man, our post office isn't working. And I get frustrated, but I realize how important Veterans Day is. So those of you that are veterans out there, I appreciate you. My complaining on the internet doesn't compare to what you went through to be a veteran. All right, so I got this one ready. And, oh, good. So far, everything's looking great on the stream. Not watching CBS Sports, just getting the score from there. I don't know if they're broadcasting that. Oh, yeah. There's probably some restrictions. NFL is crazy on their restrictions. So do I have a camera? Oh, I do. All right. So I have my thing here. Let's see. Do I have where I can show my settings? Real quick like. So I have this on and move it to stainless steel, and I put it on the max because I want it on the max. And turn my hat backward because I'm getting serious. Take my glasses off. Come on, my hand's working. I was so proud to get this welder because when I first got this doctor that uses these a lot, this is the main thing I make for him. Can you see that? Okay, if I get it close to here. So not very pretty, but it bonds. It's going to be covered with acrylic anyway. Of course, veterans rule, yes. I have great respect for them since my grandfather was a veteran. Two Purple Heart, World War II. Got hurt, went to the hospital, snuck back out, went back to the front lines, and when he got shot in the belly, he finally came home. And I'm here because he was here. He made it home, so I'm very thankful for veterans. Why do they send it back to you if you don't bond? Doesn't hold. It's not. Well, they want me to redo the acrylic, and so sometimes the teeth erupt, and I kind of wonder if the teeth erupt underneath them. I feel like they won't, but yeah, they want me to just redo the acrylic, and I'll back up the screw a little bit, redo the acrylic, and then they rebond. But it didn't really fail the bond. It held long enough, so I'm kind of wonder as I need to talk to the doctor about this because he would know more. As it expands, if the teeth are tilting out as it expands, the upper teeth, if it does this little kick out thing, which the bonded RP is supposed to help prevent that, but then the teeth that are in the acrylic, they start rotating and debonding themselves out of the thing, and it fails. The glue against the tooth fell, not the glue against the acrylic. If the glue fails against the acrylic, I want to say it's like my fault. I did something, or it didn't do right, or I thought about micro etching it on my micro etcher, but anyway, I got one back. It happens maybe once every couple months. I have to remake one. That is the wrong picture. All right, I got this one on. Where's my sticky wax? Let me sticky wax this on here. I don't necessarily like how that's sitting, but I think it will work. And then in a little bit, I'll show you what I do in these cases that don't have the roof of the mouth. And you know, that again, Amy, that'd be something that wouldn't be my fault if I don't sit the screw at the correct height in the mouth. That would be another thing where they send it back. I'd probably charge them again, and I would definitely ask for a full scan of the roof of the mouth. You know, we go to the digital, you know, the scans, and it's supposed to take care of a lot of the problems we had with alginate impressions and stuff, but we still run the same problems. You know, if they don't capture the distal of the back teeth, you still can not scan the distal of the back teeth. It's just, I guess it's supposed to be a little easier with scanning. There's not all that goop in their mouth. So, yeah, I guess it's supposed to be easier, but it's like a new set of problems. It gets rid of some old set of problems, the intraoral scanning, but then you get some new ones. Still, you know, you can tell when they're training a new assistant on scanning that an experienced assistant will give you perfect scans every time. Like we had one office, and they switched to a scanner, and they had one lady in there that had experience with the scanner, and because usually I get worried because the first few scans coming from a new office that got a new scanner in, they're terrible. They're missing data, you know, they're missing things, and but this one office, they had awesome scans day one, and I got to talk to one of the ladies that worked there, and I told her, and I usually try to tell the offices, hey, you're doing a good job giving me good scans. That way, you know, it doesn't look like I'm just complaining all the time to them, but I like to tell them, hey, the scans look great. I'll text them every once in a while, especially if I notice I haven't had any issues with printing or anything. I just like to give them a pat on the back. Probably from my 10 plus years experience as an ortho assistant taking alginate impressions, I know the pain of taking impressions. But anyway, I talked to this one lady, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm the one that trained them all. I had experience in it. I was like, well, I can tell, because y'all just shot right out of the starting blocks. Excellent. Now on this part, see how I don't have them lined up? I'm trying to, is that blurry? Kind of looks, oh, that's because of the shine. I'm going to turn down the light just a little bit. Maybe that turned it up. Turn it down. To there. Well, I got to be able to see. So I get them kind of parallel, and then I start bending one up or one down depending on where I want it. Usually middle of the tooth. There we go. All right, let's go solder that. New scan, new charge. Oh, I mean, you're not wrong. You know, set the rules early. And I think they get, you know, if it happens a lot, because the doctors get, I'm not sure about these scanning units, but I think a lot of them, they they get charged per scan every time they take a scan. So I'm sure that starts racking up when they have to redo a lot of scans. But yeah, if I contact them about a bad scan or bad model or something, and they say, go for it, I say, okay, but, if it comes back for a remake, full charge. And I think they realize that. But they're willing to do that risk of, 80-something% that I'll get it on the first try. That's where experience comes in. A lot of it. Just dealing with these issues and stuff. All right, we're ready for the screw, but we're gonna make a platform first. And if y'all know me, I like to use a lot of wax. I'm just a waxing fiend. Oh, you're gonna have to hold on. I saved y'all's ears. I took my mic off. Put that back on. Sorry about that. So what I like to do, I could do the whole thing, but I tend to have a hard time with it sticking for some reason. So what I'll do is I'll line this up on a piece of pink base plate wax, and I'll just score the outline of the, what do we call that? The missing area of the model. Oh, come on. There we go. And then I'll just take this piece and slide it in there. Okay, is this on? Nope. Off. Can I do this? I don't know. The lighting is terrible. And then I use my little waxing tool and just kind of stick it, melt it into the model to stick it there. And then you can do some here just to, oh, it got a little hot there. So now I've made a little platform. Oh, I can't see nothing. It's hard because I'm looking into a light right here. So it's kind of blinding me. So that way you can see my face. So there's not a weird shadow. And then I look over here and I have to turn the light down. I can't see anything. So then I'll let that, let's see. I got a, yeah, here we go. Oh, staple. There we go. All right. I'll take the screw out. I'll take the rest of this, put it in here. So this is this looks like a weird type of screw. It's called an Eagle RPE with orthogonal arms. So I'm going to go ahead and bend the arms up. And the great thing about this is these will fit into some really deep pallets. I'm trying to adjust too much shine on there. This will fit in some really deep pallets, so I'll go ahead and bend the arms like that. Oh, thank you for my sneeze. Hey, I bought that 4B recently. Oh, really? Oh, man. I'm kind of getting jealous now. Pretty fast. The Formlabs Form B, I've been eyeing it. And the 4BL or XL, because they can do 32 models at a time. I don't think I'm fast. I don't think I'm busy enough for that. So I don't think I need to print that many at a time. But shoot, I could probably get all my printing done in one print, which would be nice. All right, so what I'm going to do is make a platform. What the doctor wants is 5 millimeters above the roof of the mouth. Now, I don't know where the roof of the mouth is, and I know I would suspect, looking at the angle of this and of this, that the roof of the mouth is somewhere right here, where my finger is. So it dips down there. So this is already hovering above the roof of the mouth. And I put this here so that I won't accidentally go too far below, and then when they go to put it in, this part's just jamming into the roof of the mouth. So this will give me a good reference to stop. So I usually will stack this 1, so that's 2 millimeters, 3, 4. So he wants 5 millimeters. Well, let's measure this. It's 4-ish. That's inches. That's 6.5. Okay, so like I said, 4-ish. No, okay. I'm gonna pull off one of these. Let's see what that is. I thought these were 1 millimeter thick, but yeah, 4.8. I guess, I know they're not 100% accurate. Yeah, they're 1.6. That's why they start adding up. So I'll put this in here. And I know I want my screw to rest about right there. So while that's in there, I'm going to take my little laser torch thing, and I'm going to heat that up. I'll melt them together. And I'm going to set this into that wax to make an index. And I usually like these screws mesial of the 6s. So while that pink wax is still cooling, I can check it, make sure it's level with the occlusion. I can probably go down a little bit there. And that way, since there's still nothing on the bottom, it still fits my model holder. Yeah, Perry, you'll have to tell me how that is. Are you able to get that new cheap draft resin? That $100. You got to sell your daughters $100 per liter, right? It has that new fast resin. If that's what you're using, I don't know if you're using a model resin or what. So to keep this easy on my end, I'm just laying these until they touch the wire. So that's why I wax those in, so they stay in the same spot. Sometimes I don't like how straight this arm gets, so I'll put a little curve in there. So let me move this arm forward. I like that arm to hit about the middle of the 6, usually right in that groove right there. So let me move this arm mesially. I just gotta go real far. And I like these to have a nice curve, because if it goes straight from here to here, it's almost like it hangs down in the mouth, those wires. And so I'd like to put a nice curve in there. Now I'm looking here also to make sure it lands right in that index every time. So I'm going to curve these a little bit and then lay them flat again. I know what I did was weird, but there's a method There's no method to my madness. It's just pure madness. And then, so what I'm doing now, I think I got them with a nice curve. I'm gonna pull this one back a little bit. This is where you can really tell the difference between the two sides if one is moved up, because I'm still looking at the midline. A little hard because there's a canine poking in the middle right here, so it's hard to kind of see the midline, but it's about here. So I think I'm close to touching the wires together, and all I need to do is get them to touch. And then what I'm going to do is weld them. So now I'm going, oh, that's way off now. Okay, what's going on? There we go. Come on. I'm gonna make a mark there, and I'm marking it right above, oh, you can't see that. Marking it right above the wire that's going around the teeth, the support wire. What would you call that wire, guys? This wire that goes around the teeth. I think I call it a support wire. Framework is probably a better word for it. It's the part that's gonna go under the acrylic. Ooh, that one just flew across the room. Watch your eyes out there, everybody. Watch your eyes. So now I'm just kind of little final adjustments, checking the level. See, this one needs to come down, in my mind, a little bit. Both those do. Okay, I think I'm there. Just checking all the angles, make sure nothing looks too off. Those are still not touching. Actually, it's moved a little bit. Let me move it back. Sometimes bending these, I'll bend the front arm, and then the way I grip it, I accidentally will bend the back arm at the same time. That's why I like this, making one of these indexes on here. Now I keep tapping the index. You'll see me tap the screw, and I'm checking for bounce. So if it's floating above the index and I can't tell. All right, I think I have everything. So what I'm going to do is just quickly. Well, I mean, don't have it. Not quickly, but just real easily sticky wax it. All right. It's. Oh. Yes, I've been using it. I think it is 79. It's a little bit lighter than the resin you're using right now, pretty much, but everything is the same, just bigger and faster. Oh, that's so much better. And it's got the long build plate. I have a scanner a lot of times. I duplicate the models that way. It's printing it out fast. Doesn't slow down. The production doctors seem to like resin model. If they send stone, maybe I can push them toward 3D. Ooh, that is a great idea. Yeah, it'd be nice if everybody's on one page, all sending, your workflow would be so much better. But yeah, getting a scanner, I always thought about getting a scanner so that I could do more into, because I've been getting into 3D printed splints on the 3B. I'm not very good at it. I think it's the software. But these are some rejects I have. But sometimes I like them when they come out, sometimes I don't. But I'm still experimenting with it. But I have mainly two main doctors that do splints. One sends scans, and that's fine to do 3D printed splints, but one sends models. But if I can convert those models into scans, I can do the 3D printed splints. So that's a good method. All right, so what camera? That camera. Okay, notice I don't have to change the tips on these because I'm just, welding huge wire to huge wire on full blast. I'm not welding to a band. If I'm welding a wire to a band, I use the sharpest tip possible. So I did opposite ends. Go back and do opposite ends. I've done this before where I've done one side all the way, front and back. And when I mean front and back, I mean front, back, or I guess this would be front and back, front and back. And then I get to the other side and there's one not touching. That means I've moved it or something. So now, get back to this other side here. I think I got off subject, my famous ramblings. One of the doctors that started using me when I do a lot of these for this doctor, these bonded RPEs, and he started by sending me stone models, and God bless them, they sent 2 stone models because they thought I was soldering. And I was like, okay, you're gonna love me, but you don't have to send 2 stone models anymore because I'm welding the pieces together. They thought I was soldering, and so they were sending 2 models, one to solder on and then one to do acrylic on, which is something that is good to do, I think, if you're doing a bonded RPE and you solder all this framework together. But there's different ways of doing these bonded RPEs. Some, they'll just take these arms and bend them forward and take this arm, bend it back. And there's only metal on the inside. There's nothing going around the outside. And that's it. They'll just put acrylic around there, and then they'll put a debonding arm or something on the buckle here where the doctor can pull on it to dislodge it when it's ready to come out. I guess this doctor uses, I'm not sure what they use. I guess a band remover tool to get these off. Both my kids go to this doctor. They both had expanders that I made, which was cool. I wasn't there to get them when they removed them. Oh, actually, I was there because my poor daughter, something got her. I think there was blood, and we found out she does not like the sight of blood, and she vomited in the trash can. So she vomited in the trash can because her face went absolutely. That doesn't look right. Her face went absolutely pale. Why are you doing this? That's wrong. That's right. I don't know why I'm doing that. But her face went just absolutely pale. And she's like, oh, I think I'm going to throw up. And she vomited in the trash can. And she barely had any breakfast, so it wasn't much. But still, it's funny to think back on that. But yeah, they pulled it out, and she had some swollen gums somewhere around it. And it got a little bit of blood. And so she went to go rinse out when they pulled it out, and blood came out of her mouth. She was like, oh no. So anyway, I've got the framework done, and this starts the series of separator and waxing. So I do like to make a little bit of room for the glue in the occlusion, and to me it also helps so that especially if there's some really sharp edges on the occlusion in those fossa of those teeth, I don't want those on the inside of the bonded RPE. I wish I had a finished one. I guess I can go find that repair one and show y'all. So just doing some basic block outs. Now I got to replace my resin tank. And so sometimes I get holes, and I don't know if you can see right here. There's a hole. And I'll get these holes every once in a while because there's something on the resin tank. I got a new one ordered. So when that comes in, these are going to come out a lot nicer and cleaner. So time for the first, well, that stopped up. There we go. Get my paintbrush ready. Couple drops and then paint that in. Again, I'm probably going to do about 3 layers before it's all said and done. There we go. Got it nice and painted. And put it in front of my fan over here. If y'all can't see that. Well, you can't see that. I have a little fan here, and I have some of my rejects. Disregard that. So I got a little desk fan, and it's blowing on there. Disregard these. These are stuff, little crafts I've been doing. I made a little wax mold of a cross, and I handed these out at church to my AV group. I got some requests from them. So I made a little mold, wax, and I made a mold, and I filled them up with acrylic. So those are little crafts that y'all can do in your Ortho lab. You can make jewelry and stuff, some simple jewelry. I did get a request to put a hole in one, and somebody wants to make a necklace out of it, but like this one is lavender pearl. So, and that's midnight black. That's lost forever. Oh, there it is. Can't get it in there. But anyway, that's just an idea of things y'all can do if you want. Okay, so now while that's drying, I'm gonna prep this, and I need to replace this wheel, but I use a heatless wheel, and I'll just go ahead and grind on that joint right there. That'll get rid of some of the oxidation. You know what I didn't do before I do this? I didn't do the underside. Usually I take it off and I'll laser weld the underside over here. So let's do this, and so I'm just doing pretty much all 4 of the connection. So the front, the back, the top, the bottom of where this is connected to here. So the front, the back, the top, and the bottom. And this just helps secure this framework even more. So this part, the ends of these are a little tall. I doubt they'll stick out of the acrylic. Gotta be careful, this gets hot. There we go. So let me go hash on this real quick. So I just have that's wrong. Oh, that's on. So all my new wheels I use just for acrylic, and then it gets once I need a new pumice wheel, I'll use my metal wheel and then get a new acrylic wheel, and that just keeps a nice fresh acrylic wheel. And I got some Green Rouge metal polish from JBC. Now this is where I'm not supposed to touch it, which I thought was a very good. Iliac, was that you? I think it was somebody. Saying, yeah, don't touch it because the oils will get, which makes a lot of sense. So now I'm going to steam clean this. I missed a spot. Probably, it's really good to, you know how I waxed all this down to the model. If you don't think you get it off very good, the wax, it's good to steam it. Before you high shine. See, I'm touching it already. Look at that. All right, so I have it all nice and shiny, ready to go, embed in acrylic where nobody sees it. Well, what color is this? Cobalt blue. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty dark. All right, so this doctor likes them articulated. So what I'm gonna do is grab my articulator here. This is called a Galetti articulator. It's a plasterless articulator, meaning you don't have to mount it with stone. But as you can tell, I can't, well, I guess I could. I can't necessarily mount this on here very easily. So what I like to do is grab some pre-made plaster bases and screw them in to the base. Probably a better angle. Screw them in, or attach them to the base. And you can see I've reused this. I reuse it over and over again. And then just got to make sure I get a. You can see I have lots of acrylic on here, so I'll put this on here. Tighten it down. I try not to use a tool, pliers, to tighten it as much as I can, because I've heard of horror stories of these snapping off. But then I'll take the upper, hold it on there, and then use my hot glue. I got a new black color and I'm testing it out. Not sure if I like it because the little strings that come off of this look like hair, look like black hairs. So I'll try to get the midline in line with the Galetti, and then the lower, what happened to the lower? Oh, it's right here. Put the lower on, hold it down. Now this, I wouldn't use this for a splint where you're needing to do an occlusal equilibration, that kind of thing, because these do not stay on after the pressure pot. Because of the hot glue, I keep them, it keeps them on the model and occlude it long enough to get into the pressure pot. Once it's off the pressure pot, I don't need to, this just, for bonded RPE, this gets my thickness the way I want it and the angle the way I want it, or the way the doctor wants it. So let's see if I can back up and change different perspective. So I have the two models in there, And I like the hot glue because it's instant. So I'm gonna if I loosen this, this lets me slide this front and back like this. So you can really dial it in. Then I loosen this is actually a ball joint. And the ball joint is right there, and it will actually move around like this. So you can get in here and occlude these, kind of like, it's called like hand articulating. You know, and if they were in class 3, you would put them in class 3, that kind of thing. So I wiggle it to make sure it's set like that, and then I tighten this as far as hand tight as possible, and then I'll tighten that. So now these are mounted in an articulator, and it functions just like a plaster articulator. And so then here's your rise. So now one thing I do, and this is what the doctor wants on all these cases. Oh, I tightened that too much. Untighten, untighten. I gotta be careful. Here we go. So this is gonna look weird. I can't see this. See if I can do this with my hands. I'm gonna just raise this up like this. I'm just gonna put an ever so slight rise to it, but I like to hold it against my chest here, and I just like put 1 millimeter of opening, like a open bite on it. And so, if you look back here, you see now there's a slight open bite. And then, I open it where the molar's clear and give me about at least 2 millimeters of opening there. This is 1.6 as we measured before, so that's about 2 millimeters. And then I'm gonna lock this down so that it doesn't stay, so that it does stay. So then I'm ready for acrylic, but I need to paint it again. Because one, I've kind of ruined the first layer. You can see where, I don't know if you can see that or not. Ah. And then do the lower. Because this is going to go in contact with the acrylic on the top, so you don't want it sticking. And then, since it's open like that, put it back in front of the fan, like so. And let the fan do its job drying out that thing. So while we wait, those are cool. Oh yeah, if I remember right, I have the molds over there by the thing. I'll do a mold of the cobalt blue or some blue. Just use some gloves. I'll keep the. Great idea. I'm not used to working with gloves. This doctor's very smart. I'll explain to you later. Are you talking about the opening of the thing? Pretty clever with that Galetti. Yeah, this thing comes in handy. This Galetti. Now, it's one of those things where you get what you pay for, from what I've heard. I do have a fake Galetti, and it broke. It's up in the cabinet. I used to have 2 of these, but I was so lucky. One of my friends in ORG saw me watching one of these. He goes, "Hey, do you want the Galetti? I'm not using it. Do you want it for $75? I was like, "Yeah." I sent him a check as fast as I could because there's 750 or more than that. Yeah, the opening. So I'm assuming, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, open that way so the acrylic's out of ramp, so it slides the lower jaw forward a little bit. in there. And he wants the acrylic perfectly level where the teeth skate around on it. Iliac, master of acrylic. I like that. All right, so is this... Oh, we're already in an hour. Yeah, it's still tacky. So let me move to this thing here. Wrong button. Right button. Yeah, this little tiny... Wow, that is really... Where did all this light come from? What? That's wrong. There we go. So, so it says band and loop, space maintainer for lower left. That's wrong. Band on I and loop against R. So I'm going to go with, I don't think it's the left. I think they were looking at it wrong. That is completely wrong. I may have to double check. I'm almost certain. So they say band on I and loop against R. So looking at this tooth chart, I is up here. So they want band on I and loop against R. So I think what they meant was band on T and loop against R. So that would be, I don't know if that's even T. No, I guess that is. I see a little bit of a, right here I see what is probably the 6 coming in. So that means it's missing this primary molar here, which is this one. So I'm looking at this tooth here, which is R. No, this is T. And then that's R. So I had to pull out my tooth numbering chart to make sure I'm doing that right. So they were probably looking at this way, and they said lower left, and this is actually lower right. And yeah, I guess that could be a T that's been underlined, and it looks like an uppercase I. So what I like to do is, let me get a pencil here. Those bonded RPEs, they do allow for you to do other projects, other things while you're waiting on things to dry and set up and all that stuff. Now, when I have to do like 2 or 3 of these RPEs at once, I only have one Galetti. So while one is in the pressure pot, I'm already doing the framework of the other. And so by the time I finish the framework, that RPE is finished in the pressure pot, and I'll go and grab that Galetti out, remove all the models, keep these plaster bases attached, and then put them in front of the fan again over here, and then that way those plaster bases are drying, so my hot glue will stick to them. And then as I finish the framework, that should be dried, and I stick those models back on it, and then it's just to repeat the process. But it's one of those things where you got to think about, okay, what I want to do next, what am I getting ready for? And I think that is ready for, we may not get to this band and loop. I'll have to save it for another day. I'm going to put, this is what I would call my third coat. But since I was occluding it together, and y'all saw where it was kind of damaged a little bit, that first coat was damaged in some places, this will be the second coat in those places, and third coat in the rest. It's just a safety measure I do. And then of course, when you're doing multiple things and you can't remember what number coat you're in, how many separator coats you've put on, then always do one more. Just play it safe. Just play it safe. Handy diagram for the win. Dental things. That is funny you said that, because you've got a really great video explaining this diagram for newcomers into the dental field. So if you're watching this and you're new to the ortho industry, go look at his channel, Dental Things. He does a really great video on tooth numbering. So that I want to incorporate his video into my school. He did a really great job of doing that. So let me prep this. I'll show you how I do that as we wait for that. But my goal is to get to the acrylic stage on that bonded RPE. So some people use a saw. I have gotten used to using a burr and being real careful with it. I'm using my thumb as a guide to go back and forth so I don't go into the tooth. I also need to let y'all know why I'm pretty confident, even though the instructions were wrong, that the doctor gave me. Is because I got another model here that was broken. So that it's broken and this tooth is broken off. So it is, we can see the difference. That tooth is broken off. So that tells me, because it broke where I need to put a band and loop, they gave me a new model. So I'm almost 100% sure that is there. So then I'll go through here and just trim this up a little bit, just smooth it out. These pedo teeth are sometimes terrible because they'll be bigger underneath the gums. But I think I've made enough room and I made enough of a mess. Let's clean that up. And I got this kit from JBC and Company. Pedodontic bands. Have y'all seen this? This was one of the best purchases I made. And so this is for the upper and these are universal. They'll go to either side. And so this is for the lower. Let's go with the biggest one. Well, come here. Well, I just want one. Get out of there. Yep. I'm looking at the spacing around it. This is almost too small, but I'm thinking this is almost perfect. Let me see if I can get that to settle down. So what I would have to do is, if this is too small, and I bet you it's not, but probably what I would have to do is go to the adult bands for the 6s. See if I can get a better fit. But let me see if I can get this to fit. I don't want to crack that. So I got a band pusher here. Great little tool to have if it doesn't have wax hanging off of it. Yep, that's not going down very good. Either I didn't prep it good enough. Let me look at it again. Oh yeah, there's a slight tapering out. I don't know if y'all can see that in the camera. Right where it's hitting right here. So I can kind of tell that that is tapering out. But what I was saying before was some people use a saw, and I like how clean those saw blades look. You got to be almost just as careful with the saw. There we go. Yep, I think I'm gonna go with that. Trying to get it down a little bit more. So the Cowboys win? Never mind, don't tell me. Oh, come on. I'm just kind of beating up this band a little bit. But I think I got it on there pretty good. I like it when the doctors send me bands because I know 100% that they fit. All right. That one's probably dry enough. Let's see. You got some. I put a little marker dot on the heel for each separator. Ooh. I put a little marker dot on the heel. Oh, the heel back here. So you take a marker. Do I have one? Do I have one? No. Well, here. So like this. So like I painted one coat and I put a little mark on the heel of it, and that tells me there's a coat on there. Oh, that's a great thought. And then you'd put another coat and you put another mark, and then you put another coat. That's a great idea. I learned something new every live stream. I like it. 34-6 final. Yeah, you know. What can we say with all the injuries going on? Okay, so now I'm going to disconnect this. I'm going to take which I should be wearing gloves. I am going to touch this. This does look wet, but I think it's where it's sitting on the wax. It looks wet. I'm going to wax this down. It's not tacky, so yeah, this separator I use really needs to be dry for the best outcome. So put a little separator there. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'll go back to my hot glue gun. Give that a second. You can do this without, you gotta be careful there, the hot glue. I just like that it just creates a border. It's like less to trim when you get it out of the pressure pot. I tend not to like to do hot wax. So, why I keep saying that? Hot glue in this area here. That black doesn't really show up, does it? There we go. Across here, it's just hard to remove. What I have come to find I like to use is wax. Now I did get some Mortite. I forgot who told me about the Mortite, but I did get some of that. I don't like it necessarily for this because it's hard to remove out from underneath the acrylic. So I use this clay, kind of like a Play-Doh, I guess. I just found some of this modeling clay. It doesn't dry, and so I just get a little bit of clay and work it. Or I used to use a lot of wax, but that took a lot of steaming. I just want to protect that screw from getting acrylic in the threads. That is the worst to have to dig out. And then I also like to make a little platform for the acrylic there. So there I have saved the life of that screw and it's holding everything down. So we're ready for acrylic. Let's see if my camera can set up. So I'm going to leave these separated. I'm not going to put them together until the very end. So let's go over to this. Oh, well, just don't hold the camera. You can see I was using some of these for the, nope. There we go. Some of these for those little pocket crosses that I've made for the AV group for my church. And I did get one cool request for color, and it is black on the back side and white on the front side. And so there's a lot of symbolism in that, which is pretty cool. All right, get my articulators over here. This is cobalt blue, which is a liquid, which is that. Not much in there left. Do I need to order some more? Or do I have some? Nope, I don't have any. All right, let me write it down on my list over here. Cobalt, that's Cobalt. Cobalt blue. Okay. Put a little starter monomer on there and put a little clear to start this off. Making sure y'all can see. Put some on the buckle. I probably really only need like 2 coats of this blue. It's pretty powerful. I am making it kind of runny on that very first coat. I'm trying to get the acrylic to go all the way around the wire. See how it's runny right there. I'll put a little powder there to freeze it. You can take your finger and clean it up. Let's rub it against that hot glue, and it's almost like saves you a little trimming time. All right, I think that's enough blue. I might need a little more over here in this joint. I'll just switch over to clear for the rest. We got the point with the blue. I won't build the whole thing out of the blue. 1, I'm running out of blue. 2, we'll get the point either way. But I don't know why I just did 2 coats of clear. Sometimes I'll get my mind going. All right, switch to blue before I forget to do blue. Build a little bit of blue here, but I can switch to clear now over here. Just making sure I'm getting all the wires covered as best as possible so I don't have any exposing of the wires. There we go. Let me reactivate this with some monomer. And this is where I'll put the articulator together, lock it down, and then I need to add some here. And I'm mainly just going to build it up in the front. Yeah, need a little bit more on the inside. One thing that makes this hard, I do try to touch lower molars and then the first and second bicuspids, and that's my goal. Sometimes it's hard because, like in this case, this bicuspid is not fully erupted, so I'll probably, oh, I am touching that one. I'm touching that. I kind of need to build up a little bit on the inside so that I can see my marks. Don't have much in the back over here. I think I need to add just a bit back here. Now I don't want to, open and close too many times, because the more you do, the more you'll rub off the separator on there. But I can see the 3 teeth touching there, the 3 teeth touching there, and I think we're good. Oh, maybe a little bit there. Might be a little thin. Okay, going in the pressure pot. Oh, I put too much water in this thing. Oh yeah, as a bonus, this is a mold I made using lab putty. So you can make little fun little trinkets and things. Let me just do this one. And you just fill up the mold with whatever color you want. I did get a request for an electric blue or a cyan blue. So this may work. This may be too dark of a blue for cyan blue. So then you could put some glitter in there. The good thing about these molds is you can just reuse them over and over again. So I made the first mold, out of pink wax. It's kind of carvable, and you can make it smooth, and then once it's the shape you want, and I kind of want it to go with a kind of an imperfect cross kind of thing. But let's get the air bubbles out of there. And then that'll just go in the pressure pot, just like that. And then you can pop it out later on. Okay. That's it. I think I'm going to end it there. We are hour and 19 minutes into it. So that's how long it takes on one of those. Go a little bit slower as I'm explaining things, but those take a little bit longer. So you got to, charge accordingly. But with that being said, we'll end it there. I will finish this off camera and I will post a picture. Follow me on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram to see the pictures. And I have a cool picture coming up of hold. And I probably should have recorded it. It's a glow in the dark night guard. I don't know why more people don't get these. These are cool. So let me show you a preview on my phone of what I'm going to post on Instagram. So follow me on there so you can see the pictures when I get them done. Let's see. See, there's a picture, and then I turned off the lights. And it glowed. Look how much it glows. Look how, it's just putting out the sunshine. And that's how I charged it. I went outside and held it up to the sun for just a minute. It did not take long. Came back in and went to like the bathroom where there's no windows, and I closed the door. Yeah, it was really bright. So anyway, follow me on Instagram. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Put some tips and tricks down there below. Got some great ones from Perry and all that stuff. Perry and Iliac and all that. So, and if you're watching the recording, be sure and subscribe. You can click the notification bell, and you'll know when I go live. And I usually go live on Sunday afternoons, like 5 or 6 range, depending on when the Cowboys play, and maybe not anymore. It won't be long. But that being said, I will let everybody go. Thanks for joining me this live stream. And if you have links down below to the Patreon if you want to watch this ad-free. And I have some other things as I try to build my online school. I place the videos there of the lessons I'm going to be teaching, so you get a preview of the online school. So if you're interested in starting a career in this or opening up your own ortho lab, check that out. It would be interesting. But until next time, I don't have my coffee cup anymore. It says happy bending on there. But anyway, until next time, happy bending.
Ah.